Okay, Robert. So after almost 25 minutes of break, I think all of you are regenerated. Good. Now, after end of Arab-Israel war, we are now switching to Falkland War. So participants from Congo, I'm minimizing the camera.
Copied, sir. You are loud
Thank you.
and clear, and we are seeing the slides, sir.
Okay, thank you. So far, do you have any queries till now that from the inception of powered flight, then development of theories, tactics, technology, uh, up to pre-World War One, sorry, pre-World War Two, then during World War Two and continued up to your 1982 Machiavelli War. Okay. Any queries in between the session, up to this session? Okay. If not, then we are going to start from the Falkland War. This war is characterized especially by air power's global reach. If you consider the battlefield from the mainland Britain, it is almost 7,000 kilometer. Though from Argentina, it is only how much kilometer? 400 or 500? 400 kilometer. Then it is almost totally air war, except that amphibious landing and amphibious assault. Then survivability of the surface ships. Actually, from the World War II, it was evident. It was evident that even a mighty mighty carrier, aircraft carrier, the heavy gun, that battleships, the destroyers, even the submarines, they are very much vulnerable to air power. In the Atlantic, actually, the Germans were defeated by Allied air power only. German strategy was more of U-boat based to disrupt and destroy the war potentials which were coming from USA to the battlefields. Okay, those were mostly electric diesel engine submarines. So they need to recharge their battery, refresh their oxygen by surfacing the submarine over the water. And that is minimum once in a 24 hours. That was their vulnerability. So Allied air power patrolling around their ships and patrolling the entire Atlantic Ocean, gradually with the help of Navy and air power, they reduced the German U-boat threat. The Allied strategic bombing in the Ruhr Valley also contributed the disruption of the U-boat production. So attrition was higher, production was less. Gradually, the German U-boat threat minimized. So there was also a great contribution of air power against the maritime forces in the Atlantic. And in the Pacific, by this time, you know. Okay. So it is not only that in that Falkland War that it was evident that ships and other surface units are very much vulnerable to air power. Okay. Because that surface ships, is it interrupted? Hmm? Okay. So from this war, that survivability of surface ships under question. So and there were offensive counter operation by surface forces. That means that airfield attack by commando forces. Air logistic operation, the Ascension Island in the Atlantic were the logistical hub. From there, actually, the naval forces, the maritime forces, and the air forces they were supplied. And finally, a legal base in the maritime domain, or the legal framework that how an international water can be declared as war zone. Because you know that 1982, that United Nations Convention on Laws of Sea that declared that any international water beyond 12 nautical mile, sorry, any that the jurisdiction of territorial water is up to 12 nautical mile. That means that is the sovereign water. Beyond 12 nautical mile is actually international water. So, attacking someone beyond 12 nautical mile without declaration is actually does not go with the that means that law of war, laws of war. Okay, laws of armed conflict. So there comes a legal binding. So this is an example of that how international water can be declared as war zone. Yes, Aulan. So it is once the nation is in war, that means you have to give a logical time to leave those places. Like if you want to declare it either a maritime exclusion zone or total exclusion zone, if some fishing trawler is there, if some ship is transiting through there, you have to give a logical time. If you want to have a 200 nautical mile radius, a ship goes with those ships with 5 knots. So you have to give minimum that amount of time that those who all are inside so that they can go out. Yes, yes. So first of all, they should have a UN resolution. The matter will be taken to UN Security Council, and then there, if the UN resolution is passed only when it is majority is approved. That means there is no veto. First of all, that any of the 5 veto members they are not giving veto. They agree. Then there is a temporary member of 15 or 10. 10, I think. The Security Council temporary member 10. They agreed. Then there is a General Assembly, that means all 93 or 96, 196 members, they vote with the majority. Then the issue is internationalized. Only then this the country can declare. Otherwise, it will be a like that violation of international law, like USA is doing. They have not taken the issue to the UN. So they are not, US is not following international regulation. The issue is not even the US resolution. US Congress, they have not taken Congress permission. So the issue is also not permitted by US Congress. However, yeah, US President has got some exclusive power, 60 days or 90 days, like this. So it is under their jurisdiction. So internationally, this is not agreed. But you know that international relation is very unique. There is no highest level of referee. There is no highest level. It is just a customary respect to the international law. Nobody is going to enforce something with force. There will be condemnation in the international arena. There will be isolation from the international community, but hardly there will be any military action of that nature if it is a superpower backed. Yes, the whole that means that there were negotiation going on in between Argentina and Britain. The negotiation was in place. And during negotiation, without a clear declaration that the negotiation has failed, Argentina is going to invade Falkland on this date if his demand is not placed. This is an international declaration, the state declaration. This is one thing. A state can go forward. This is allowed. Kintu with a clear aim, with a clear condition, once that negotiation failed. It was under the guise of negotiation they invaded. That was not accepted. So there was a UN resolution, and after only UN resolution, the British attacked. Okay. So again, in the same way, you will study how air defense was arranged by British task force for their own task force, how air defense were arranged by Argentina. Then there was a black bag operation, very very unique. It had a great implications that Argentina they changed their air strategy. They redeployed their high performance aircraft, their mainland defense. Okay, so there are many changes in their operational plan after the black bag operation. So supporting own task force from 3,500 kilometer from the intermediate post and 7,000 kilometer away from the mainland. It was a great logistical task. Then that exocet missile attack, it was a turning event. It was an important event. Then how the Argentine fought against the British task force, how they attacked the ship, what was the result of the attack, why the attack did not bring the desired result. All things are you should analyze. Okay, what were the limitations of British air component? What were the limitations of Argentine air component? You should analyze in the manner. Okay, the way I discussed Vietnam War and Arab-Israel War, same thing in the same structure. Next comes Gulf War. So Gulf War was a totally different style of conducting warfare. Okay, in paper, Iraq was a formidable enemy, but they did not deliver that performance. What was actually the equipment and the manpower they had. Okay, and the air campaign planning, that means that objective phases, phase-wise objectives, this became very prominent. The air strategy, especially airspace management of 2,000 to 3,000 sorties per day, that includes combat support air operation also. Then the concept of parallel warfare, strategic paralysis, stealth, technology employment, the concept of ballistic missile defense also came up from this war. The airspace management, especially fire control, the control of fire by different types of weapon, naval weapon, air weapon, land-based weapon, concept of kill zone. These came up from this type of war. Okay. So Gulf War is the first war after the end of Cold War. From this war, the unipolar world emerged. So unipolar world provided a different geostrategic scenario. From this one word, all the major decisions were actually unilateral decisions. Though the Gulf War was a classical and standard example of international law, compliance with the international law, UN resolution, and taking all decisions in a collective manner. But gradually, this system actually became ineffective. Gradually, the superpower, the lone superpower, became more of hegemonic, and the international system became less effective. With this, we are entering into the area of post-Cold War era. So here, the air power seemed to become, yes. You will read. You read the Gulf War 1991, you will find that parallel warfare and strategic paralysis. The objective is strategic paralysis, parallel warfare is the ways and means. Actually, it would have been parallel warfare and strategic analysis, single bullet. That would be accurate. Ballistic missile defense. The Patriot came up in effect to this war, and also it gave the birth of this third terminal high altitude anti-ballistic missile defense system. Okay, this third was then considered. Okay, going to next slide. Yes. That will be my question. Okay. So this is the time that joint ATO, the JATO cycle came up. So that is your topic to read and my topic to assess. Okay. Good. Anything else from this slide? Switching over to next slide. So the employment of air power in the post-Cold War era. So in a unilateral or in a unipolar world, the world became US centric. There were no credible power to confront the US dominance or US hegemony. So this is the time the wars were of with limited objectives, unipolar world, mostly asymmetric in nature. So the point was given highest priority of minimizing the collateral damage as well as minimum damage to civilian infrastructure in any military conflict. For that, the extensive use of technology and precision guided munitions were the top agenda during the air war or air conflict for air power of this time frame, this era. Okay. Good. So this is the time that Operation Deliberate Force. This is the NATO and UN air actions against Bosnian Serbs in 1995 or 96, 1995. So that UN and NATO forces air campaign against Bosnian Serbs. Is it interrupted or you can hear always? Okay. So the Bosnian Serbs, it is actually for the offsetting the humanitarian disaster in the Europe after the dismemberment of Yugoslavia. So this is the civil war in Yugoslavia, where the widespread human rights violation was conducted by Serbian forces against Bosnia-Herzegovina, and also Serbian forces in Kosovo. That's coming later. That is Allied force. So aerial bombardment only brought Serbs on the peace table. You see that limited, the war objective is limited. That pressure Bosnian forces and come back to negotiation table to stop the violation of human rights. That means there are peacekeeping forces. Peacekeeping forces will continue the humanitarian cause uninterruptedly, and there will not be violation of human rights. There will not be any genocide. There will not be any civilian infrastructure damage. So war objectives are limited. An aerial bombardment, the objective was to bring the sub leadership to the negotiation table, not to resort the conflict by force. As the focus was minimizing the collateral damage as well as minimizing the civilian infrastructure, so use of PGM and advanced technology was extensively used. PGM is for averting collateral damage. Advanced technology was you or aim to have own losses. Okay, good. The similar type of scenario in Operation Allied Force. This time it is with Kosovo. The Bosnian Serb forces, again, their operation in Kosovo. Same air campaigns was planned. Only air power were used, no ground forces. The leadership, they opt a gradual escalation air strategy. And there was 5-phase air strategy. So do you have reading material for this 5 phases? এক একটা বেস থেকে একজন আসো। From each group come one person. Motiur, Zohur, Coxbazar, PKP, Dhaka. From Dhaka, maybe Kurmitola, Tejga area, এক একজন আসো। এটা দেখো তো। This is the 5-phase air strategy. Do you have this material with you? Can you, okay, I'll provide just like Spanish Civil War. Okay. Okay, so this is a point for Bunia group also, that I will provide you a reading material, that a research paper on Allied Force, just like a Spanish Civil War. And there we will find that 5-phase gradual air strategy. Okay.
Sir, copied, sir.
Good. And same, that use of PGM and advanced technology. Use of PGM is to avoid collateral damage, and use of advanced technology both for minimizing collateral damage as well as keeping the own losses, keeping the UN forces losses minimum. Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Shock and Awe. Enduring Freedom is against the Taliban in 2001. It was mostly asymmetric in nature. US stayed there quite a long time, for about 20 years, and US left Afghanistan in 2021. However, their success is questionable. Okay, so this was a hybrid warfare, and this was a very complex geostrategy, geopolitical scenario. That's why I am not going to make a question from here, because you will not be able to analyze those. because the global war on terror, utilizing UCAP, which is also controversial in respect of legitimacy. Okay, so that's why we are not going to analyze this war the way we have analyzed the conventional warfare. Okay, but there will be few like Operation Anaconda and others, few short notes you will read because we are going to taking the lesson out of those air power lesson, not that international relation or not geopolitical lesson. This is not our subject. Operation Shock and Awe. This is actually the 2003 Iraq war. So that was also not approved by the UN resolution. This was a claim of that weapons of mass destruction by US and UK only. So internationally also that many international organization, many countries did not support this war. This was also almost a hegemonic unilateral war. Okay, so that's why we are not going to take uh, that military lesson. It was just to topple. The objective was to topple the regime of Saddam Hussein, and finally, U.S. forces left Iraq in 2011. Uh, but again, they came back in 2014 in a limited scale to fight the IS. Okay, so this deployment is more of with geopolitical scenario. We don't get much of air power lessons out of this war. Now, we'll discuss about air power in unmanned age. So, in respect to the time frame where we are now, Operation Shock and Awe conducted in which year? 2003, 2004. Okay. Saddam Hussein was caught in which year? 6 or 7. So it continued. That means their ultimate objective was to topple the regime of Saddam. Saddam regime was toppled within 2003. They occupied Baghdad, but there are hunt for Saddam Hussein, and there were some counterinsurgency warfare against the Saddam Hussein's son, against that Muqtada al-Sadr. There are many faction groups, but finally they achieved their aim after killing of Saddam Hussein, hanging Saddam Hussein. Okay, good. So where we are now? We are now where? In which year? 2007, 2014. Okay. And what was happening in this region? That use of drones, use of UCAPs, decapitation of Al Qaeda leaders and others. Okay, so that means once we are in unipolar war, wars are more of asymmetric with limited objective. Another warfare has started to grow. Global war on terror, use of unmanned system worldwide, starting from Nigeria, from Mali, in Sudan, in Somalia, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, everywhere. Okay. So that brings us that air power in unmanned age. By this time, huge technological advancement have taken place in unmanned area. The hill, high altitude, long endurance, the mill, medium altitude, long endurance. Okay, different types of with different capability. The unmanned system has been evolved, both ISR as well as both combat elements. And this is the time the global war on terror, the US air campaign against Al Qaeda leaders worldwide. Okay, starting from Sahel region, Middle East region to Afghanistan region. Then Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh. Though it was a low intensity conflict or not low intensity in respect of using technology, use of kinetic weapon, but is localized. Localized. And it did not even, they did not attack each other country also. They just fought in the disputed territory. They did not escalate into their own territory. It is not only border. That means Nagorno-Karabakh is an area. That country claimed that this is our area. Again, this is not a limited war. Limited war means objective is limited. But here, limited war means limited within the area also. So that's why you'll find that there are types of warfare. You have read in about that general war, limited war, regional conflict, and then unconventional war, low intensity conflict. So you see that this conflict is a mixed. Okay. So in Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, both the belligerents, they used unmanned system extensively for ISR, for targeting, as well as for attacking. Okay. Next is Russo-Ukraine war. Actually, this war has evolved or demonstrated both the implications of manned aircraft as well as unmanned aircraft. The Ukraine almost toppled the entire Russian military strategy with the use of their unmanned warfare. Again, Russia has against toppled the Ukrainian military strategy by their manned aircraft. Okay, that means that UMPK, that modified general purpose bomb into a precision weapon. There is no answer for no answer against this weapon with the Ukraine, with the present technology. Again, Russia has quickly adapted with the unmanned warfare, unmanned air warfare. And US-Israel-Iran war, this is still current. So we will read it, different technologies and tactics. We are not going to take any of the geopolitical lesson from here. But what the technology is used by both party, what the tactics is used by both party, that is. Okay. Global war on terror is characterized by use of unmanned aerial system for C4 and ISR, extensive use of unmanned combat air vehicles for attacking different targets. This was actually a one-sided war without any remarkable counteraction from the opposition. That means from the other parties of asymmetric in nature. The legitimacy of targets and collateral damage was questionable for this type of operation. Okay. Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, as I stated, it is the unmanned aerial system demonstrate the potential against peer enemy because both the countries were almost equal in combat power. Okay. So superior unmanned system of Azerbaijan has allowed them to take the battlefield in their favor. Then widespread destruction of soft and hardened targets, both moving and stationary, by unmanned aerial system. Also, they use this unmanned aerial system for C4 ISR as well as targeting. Russo-Ukraine war in unmanned age. Initially, both parties were reluctant to use full air power capabilities. Russia did not employ their huge air power. Ukraine also did not employ whatever they had. Okay. So within initially the Russian strategy was to create a pressure and bring the Ukraine in the negotiation table or a regime change. Okay. Initial employment of military forces was not meant to have a military victory. This was a pressure. But after 2 months, when the Turkey peace talk fails, that Ukraine decided to take on Russia in the battlefield rather than the negotiation table, then immediately Russia switched their war objectives. Now they adopted an attritional warfare. Okay. Limitation of Russia was manpower. That if Russia is not losing more men in the battlefield, Russia has a huge industrial base to sustain the war. Ukraine also had sufficient manpower according to the size of the battlefield because they are the defender, they are on one territory. But they lack in military resource, which were provided by the proxies. But that is also not an assured one, not a fluent one, if it is not in own control. Okay. So thereby, the Russian strategy was use more firepower rather than men, and Ukraine strategy was use more of drone in the combat rather than manpower. Their manpower will be in condition, and they will cause human attrition to Russia by unmanned system. So within 1 year, Russia adopted the unmanned system, and because of their huge industrial complex, they could overcome this limitation. By this time, they have also developed their guided weapon by UMPK. That means glide bombs, which is very low cost, and thereby their sustainability increased. So in an attritional war, sustainability decides the outcome. How long you can sustain. Thereby still the war is continuing. But what is the point to ponder? That air power reborn by Russia-Ukraine war. There is still air power proof that manned aircraft holds the card. It cannot be negated. The manned element, manned aircraft cannot be reduced. Okay. Unmanned aerial system will augment its, will contribute further, but it is not going to replace or reduce the requirement of manned air power. Okay. That means the reply of Su-35 and Su-20, Su-34 and Su-35 is not yet. That reply is F-7 and Mirage. Oh, sorry, F-16 and Mirage. That means air power again reborn. Manned aircraft again came back in the battlefield with undeniable contribution. Okay. During unipolar war, where wars were more of asymmetry, that's air power can operate with any punity against the enemy. There you can have, okay, I don't need so much of air force, I don't need manned aircraft. But with a pair enemy, with a pair competitor, it is not true. Manned aircraft holds the again key element. Okay, so we have to study Ukraine war with this aspect. Sorry, Russian air power on Ukraine front line. Standoff and PGM capability. Okay, good. With this, we switch to our session in perspective. Do you have the Ocean Air Warfare with you now? Okay, part 5, perspectives. Go to page number 325. Chapter 14, Air Power in Small Wars, 1913 to the present. Here you will find that from in every age, every technological arena, every part of the world, air power was equally effective in low intensity conflict or in unconventional warfare. Okay, so you will study this. That means air power was always viable, both conventional warfare and unconventional warfare. Every part of the region, every time frame, universal. Then comes rise and fall or decline. Air power reborn in multipolar world. Air power was a little decline during unipolar world, but in multipolar world, air power again a dominant factor. Okay, because unipolar world have not seen the pair competitor engaging against each other. Air and space power nowadays, because of the technology, these electromagnetic spectrum, cyber information, all this warfare has also become as important as kinetic warfare. This is also a strategy. Like now, autonomous unmanned aerial system, they format autonomous unmanned aerial vehicles. They remain in formation. They take off, they carry out the mission, they come and land in the carrier or in the airfield. If the aircraft is flown by a manned pilot, this is manned aircraft. If it is by autonomous system, this is unmanned. That means in the 90s, after the fall of Soviet power, Cold War, few workshop and few literature was there that manned aircraft age is over. Now unmanned aerial system will take over the place of manned aircraft. Thereby, you will find that in 1980s, if the whole world has 10,000 manned aircraft, in 1990s, 2000s, it became 5,000, 4,000 manned aircraft. Now you will find that every year in international market, not even 20 aircraft is sold. You will find that in during Cold War, there are many aircraft manufacturing plant, but now it is hardly few countries. Gradually, you have seen that low cost, low tech aircraft, it is no more in production. Okay, so these are the evolution of Air Force with the tactics and technology. Okay, you see that even Russia also cannot produce more than 20 Su-35 and Su-34 in a year. Hardly 20 Su-57. America also cannot produce more than 100 aircraft in a year. The Europe cannot produce more than 20 aircraft in a year. Because these are not low cost. These are high tech high cost aircraft. So low cost domain, it has taken over by unmanned aerial system. Now it can go up to 1,000 kilometer, come back and land. Even it is expendable. Okay. So this is the evolution of Air Force structure, Air Force equipment. But never ever it is denying the contribution of manned aircraft. That is the lesson. That is the lesson. That within 30 years of end of Cold War, again Air Power reborn with the same dominant factor in the battlefield. So multi-domain warfare means it is same the network-centric warfare. Information has become now a great tool for victory. Cyber, you can disrupt enemy system. Electromagnetic spectrum, you can upset enemies' war strategy. Now, few tips for your study as well as exam. Before that, I like to get question and answer session. Almost content wise, I am over with my presentation. Content wise, that I followed the time frame. I designed my class. I took you to the time frame. We started from 1903 and traveled up to 2025 or 2026, Iran, Israel, US war. Okay, each and every war had its own implications, own contribution in the tactics and technology development. There were rise from World War One, World War Two, greatly contributed to the Vietnam War, Arab-Israel War. Gulf War is one-sided. After that, the scope got limited because of the geopolitics, not for the military contribution, because of geopolitics. Unipolar world, the nature of war, the war objectives were limited. But it is not that fall of air power. It is maybe the decline. It is not needed. Again, when needed, again air power reborn with the same contribution or higher contribution from the manned aircraft. Yes, question. Okay, this time I like to get question first from the overseas component. Do you have any
Sir,
queries,
Assalam.
Tanvir?
Sir, in Gulf War 1991, sir, you have said about the parallel warfare and strategic paralysis, sir. Can you just highlight kindly about this, that how we'll take preparation on that, sir? And
You
which
read,
aspect we should do, sir?
you read that is the preparation. You
Correct, sir.
read, then if you cannot comprehend, then fall back to me.
Sir, understood. Thank you, sir.
I think you have sufficient reading material about the Gulf War Desert Storm.
Sir, yes, sir, we have, sir.
But what is the name of operation of that logistics support? Desert Shield. Okay. Remember that for your MCQ, you must ponder on the name of the operations, name of the leaders who planned, who commanded those operations, and type of weapon, aircraft type, weapon type, which contributed significantly. Okay, each and war, there were the dominance of some weapon system. Those are required for your MCQ. 15 you are getting from the previous one, but rest 10 will be from this area. Yes. Actually, it is recorded. Who can say? Who can repeat my this guidance? Rise, give him mic. Otherwise, another person will tell, sir, please repeat. Give him a mic. History means first time. History never remember the second man. Okay.
Sir,
Say.
name of operations, B commanders, and weapon which made a remarkable impact on the operation. These three I could recollect.
Like Operation Bolo. Who planned and who led this operation?
Sir.
From the error from the missile age, bring out the pressing and see it.
Yes.
Okay. So this type of informations you will look for your MCQ. Okay. That means if you read these two books completely, I'm going to make all questions from these two books. And the way I expect your answer, the way I have briefed in my presentation. I think you don't need any loose paper for answering this. Okay, remember just one key point. If you find that you're unable to manage a think small way, give a pause, read the question again. Okay, if you find that too many ideas and too many words in your head, then you stop thinking, read the question again. Okay. Any other question from Congo?
Sir, thank you, sir. No other questions, sir.
Okay. So now there will be question and answer session for this flying wing officer. Even in between, you have some question, you can recall.
Sir. Sir, may I know, sir, what all are the factors we should consider for the survivability of manned aircraft in this US age, sir?
I expect answer from you. Okay, Mohit, give him mic.
Sir, I think, sir, the stealth aircraft will get the priority, sir, which will not be get caught in the radar detection.
You come to this conclusion.
Because, sir, where the manned aircraft is replaced by the unmanned vehicle, sir, which is cheaper. So now the war fighters will be more into the drones and this kind of things, sir. Then only the but again we know that if we have a stealth manned aircraft, maybe it is expensive, but impact will be more. He will not get caught, and there will be zero loss.
Anybody can further develop this answer. His answer is correct, but anybody can further specify. Anyone? Okay. First of all, if you want to survive, don't you look for who is or what is going to kill you? If you think that I want to survive, you have to look back that why I'll be dead. So why manned aircraft will what is the threat against manned aircraft? So this is the way. Remember that I'm not serving you a good cooked dish. I am teaching you how to prepare a delicious dish. Anytime you look for survivability, that I need to survive, first you see that what is killing you. What is the reason that you are being killed? Take against sheep. What are the weapons against a sheep? Tell anyone. Missile. So how missile is guided towards the sheep? Guidance system. Is it coming high level, mid level, or sea level? That means there is some guidance system. First of all, that somebody will drop something over you. That he is coming over it. Isn't it? Sometimes that okay, he has guided weapon. So enemy is not coming over you beyond your vision. Beyond your vision means beyond his vision also. So he is following some guidance system. analyze that guidance system, you defeat that guidance system. That is your ways and means to have survivability. First, then you identify what is your weakness. Ship is very big, less speed. You cannot just get away from your threatened arena compared to an aircraft or air launched weapon. Less maneuverable. You cannot defeat the maneuverability of EM. That is why, have you heard that MCON policy? Emission control policy? Ship will never transmit anything open. They will transmit very encrypted one and very limited. Very often you will find that your Navy counterpart is showing that they will have air defense radar. Air defense radar switching on the ship means the ship is killed. It has committed suicide. Radar transmits, air defense radar transmits up to 150 kilometers. And if you are transmitting something, then that transmission will be followed by a weapon and you don't identify. Ship does not identify. If the weapon is not transmitting, that means it is a clear suicide. That is why the operational Navy, they follow strict MCON policy. They don't transmit anything. And you cannot identify. So that is why survivability means you analyze what is the weakness. Why I am not, which characteristics is making me unsurvivable. Then by which weapon system I am being killed? How do I defeat or evade this weapon? This is a system you think, now you write. Okay? Ashraf, could I give you some clue? Who made the question that manned aircraft is? How to make the manned aircraft more survivable? So you see that what are the threats? So this threat is exploiting your which weakness? Recover that weakness. If you cannot recover, don't place yourself in that situation. If you cannot encounter, avoid. Okay? Next question. Okay. So now again, I am minimizing the camera. So this is the few tips for your preparation for your exam. First of all, that you are free to express own opinion with reasoning. Okay, all your opinions are correct, provided that you have logical reasoning. Don't be afraid to express your opinion. Rather, I will give more marks. If someone opines different and he can establish it or she can establish it, I'll give him more marks. Okay. Even though I give you 4 marks on that question, I'll give leverage in other question where you don't make good score. I want that your processor should work. Okay. So events of war should be of both warring parties. Once you analyze, once you give example, once you justify your own opinion, give example of both sides. Next is that analyze each warring party with the capabilities of the aircraft and weapon systems, equipments, components. Okay, don't just say with the words. Provide the information, provide the capabilities of their aircraft, weapon systems, or any other capabilities. And see the pictures. See the pictures. For M9 missile and MRAM 120 missile. What is the difference? There you will find the clue of tactics. Anyone can say? Anyone can say that what is the difference between two missiles visually? Give him a mic.
Sir, Sidewinder is IR missile, and MRAM is radar guided missile.
So what is the difference of visual look?
Sir, MRAM is very big. It has built-in radar inside, and the Sidewinder is very small, and it has a IR seeker on the head, sir.
Why you need big missile, big shape for MRAM, and why a small shape for IR?
Sir, MRAM has a very long range, more than 100 kilometers. So Sidewinder
It needs more propellant. Don't sit. Okay, wait, I have many questions. Don't sit. Because I make you question other labs.
Sir.
Okay. And what is the any other physical characteristics? One is long and one is short. Any other characteristics?
Sir, the Sidewinder has less movable parts fin, and the MRAM has more fins. I mean,
Why?
maneuverability, sir.
Why maneuverability is required?
Sir, because when the Sidewinder is targeted, the targeted aircraft does most of the cases does not get a warning that it has been targeted because of the IR. It's a passive sensor. But when MRAM is targeting an aircraft, the targeted aircraft gets a warning that he is being targeted or radar lock. So it will try to maneuver and try to do evasive maneuver. That's what, sir.
That means IR in passive mode
Sir,
and MRAM is in active mode.
active mode, sir.
So active mode means it is traveling more distance,
Sir.
that allowing the target aircraft to maneuver itself. That's why you need the maneuverability of missile also. Isn't it?
Sir.
Okay. And what is the sensor difference between look? Sidewinder is having a smooth blunt like eye
Sir.
because it is optical,
Optical.
and radar guided is smooth,
Smooth.
very sharp. Because from there, what small radar is working inside,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Sir.
So these things you need to develop your defense mechanism. Add to your survivability. That who is going to who is coming to kill me? Is it IR or is it radar guided? Radar guided has different tactics to evade the missile. IR has got different tactics to evade the missile. Okay, aircraft shape, airframe shape will allow you to develop your strategy. Like your the steel aircraft will have a different shape. Non-steel aircraft will have a separate shape. Okay, so thereby you need to study weapon system, platform, missile system, their guidance, everything. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand or you will not be able to develop the tactics. Technology, tactics gives you the capability. Capability allows you to formulate your strategy. Strategy allow you to formulate or the organization of your air force. Got it? Sit down, please. Analyze targeting versus objectives. Okay. For attaining objectives, you need to create some situation. That situation is created by your application of air power capabilities, that means weapons. Okay. Sometimes you'll find that these weapons suits most, but your rules of engagement does not allow because of many other factors. Laws of armed conflict, your limitations for collateral damage, your limitations for that means the prohibited areas, prohibited targets. Okay, so thereby you should have a very sound knowledge of weapon system, its defeat mechanism, its destruction mechanism, destruction capabilities, and everything. And this is the time of your career that you learn it through skill. In staff college, you will be given a scenario, you apply this knowledge. So every weapon, how it functions, its defeat mechanism, you have to learn it from these Skee classes and Skee exam. Your question will be by part, like 10, 10, 5 or 10, 10 plus 15. You must correctly identify the parts of the question and answer accordingly. I said you earlier. But otherwise, you will find that you're writing so much, but you yourself are not satisfied that you could not actually answer the question. Do not just increase the words, write with credibility, even it is short. Just to the point, answer the questions. Okay. So with this, I am at the end of my presentation. Now we'll have a prayer break of 30 minutes. Before that, I'm ready to take question. After end of this question session, we'll have a prayer break of 30 minutes, and then we'll come for last session. The last session will be with you. I have delivered my part. Okay. So by this time, you discuss among yourself that where you need more clarity. I have given you all the reading materials. I have referred to all the books. I have given you the clue that how to think, how to activate your processor, and how to analyze and bring out grow the concept and wisdom of applying your power capabilities. Question and answer session. Congo, তোমাদের কিছু আছে?
Sir, negative, sir.
Okay.
No questions.
So you're getting 30 minutes for thinking time. Okay. Have a prayer break, have tea, coffee. And now it is 1:30. We come at 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock to 2:30, we expect our last session. However, there is not time is with you. The more question you have, the more discussion we'll have. Okay. Thank you.